Hello, my name is John Koopman. I'm portraying President George Washington as he would have appeared in the Whiskey Rebellion of 1794. What you see before you here are two examples of 18th century saddles. This first one is based on the American Revolution. Now this would be the decorative saddlery. This is called the housing, the decorative blanket that goes behind the saddle. And these are the holster caps. This is something that would be used by a high-ranking continental officer. These are called the flounces. This is bearskin, so this is where your pistol would go. And not only do they look very nice, but they provide an actual purpose of waterproofing. Now, as you look into this second saddle, this is what Washington used in the Whiskey Rebellion, so now you're over 10 years later. So as the older men that had fought in the Revolution, as they came forward to support Washington, they would have used the equipment from the Revolution. And some of the younger men in the local militia, the mounted militia units, they would have come in the more up-to-date saddlery. Now, one of the things that jump out at you is, now this is a replica of an actual 1790s saddle, a very faithful replica by a man. All of this is made by a man by the name of Stuart Lilly. He is an 18th century saddler. He currently works at Fort Ticonderoga, but this is something he does on the side. Now it's interesting that Washington chose red, but he must have had his reasons. But this is called the housing, once again, a decorative saddle blanket. But one of the things that jumps out at you in the style difference is you see this is the back of the saddle called the cancel. It's much higher than when you look at the cancel from this Rev War period saddle. Now I can speak from a riding story that I was trail riding my horse some years ago. We were very aggressively going uphill. I lost my seat and I actually came off the saddle. I did fight my way back in and I was okay, but I realized that if I had had this saddle, it wouldn't have happened. It would have kept me seated, so I can really see the use of a high cancel. So you look at the bridle. This is a authentic reproduction of a civilian bridle. One of the things you can see is that they would have these decorative brow bands. It was just a style of the time, you know, a little flare. Now, what's curious about this bit is a reproduction of an actual bit found at an archaeological dig at Colonial Williamsburg, and they actually recreated the bit so you can actually get a very faithful reproduction of an actual 18th century bit. Now, as you look at the Washington bridle, you can see here, once again, the decorative brow band is actually a rosette. This is there again a very faithful reproduction of the original. And these parts, the hardware, were actually cast and silver plated in France. That was, I guess, the best place that Stuart Lilly found to do it. And this bit is a very accurate reproduction of Washington's bit. So this is all a very thorough reproduction of Washington's saddle and saddle. So as you can see here, this is all based. So not only was Stuart Lilly using his expertise, what he learned of 18th century saddlery, but when you can get a good digital image, the original is at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. So if you get a good digital image, you can get great detail from the original. And as you can see, it's a very faithful reproduction. As I just learned today, there was one of the spectators made an interesting point, why the red. If you look at this painting, what do you see? You see the red, the white, the blue, like our flag. I never thought of it that way before, but I thought that was an interesting comment. I don't know whether Washington chose it for that reason, but I do find it quite intriguing, the red, white, and blue of our flag. So that concludes our remarks. Thank you for listening.